Howdy folks, Jamboree here, and welcome to the last ever Puppet Panic. In this final episode, I'm going to be talking about a bunch of festive specials of classic puppet TV shows. So make yourself a hot cocoa and grab a nice blanket, because this is going to be one wholesome Christmas treat. Blues Room Holiday Wishes. For those not in the know, Blues Room is the puppet show spin-off of the classic preschool series Blue's Clues. Its most notable difference to the original is that Blue actually talks fluent English and has the voice of a little girl.
Hey, I love to celebrate the holidays with you.
This might weird many fans out, because they're used to hearing this. But I can assure you all that Talking Blue is a very cute hostess, who manages to take the helm quite well without a human adult around, mainly helped by how she sounds and acts like a kid watching the show.
Happy holidays, Doodle!
Happy holidays, Blue!
In terms of festive specials, Holiday Wishes is part educational and part high-stakes storytelling. I was actually really impressed by how much faith the episode puts into its preschool viewers. Not only do the characters try to teach kids a pretty big word that might be a mouthful for them,
Your word today is generosity.
but it also gives them a fair chance to guess half-finished holiday symbols, including a menorah, which might be a tricky guess for kids who don't practice Judaism. Even if some kids don't recognize this religious candelabra, the characters still take the chance to educate non-Jewish kids about what it is and what it means to those who celebrate Hanukkah.
They tell the story about a fire that people thought would only last for one night, but it lasted for 8 nights instead.
Each puppet also gets to say what their favorite part of Christmas is, and the show uses the melody of 12 Days of Christmas to recite everyone's pick, which not only validates how important it is to remember each of your friends' favorite things, but also challenges children to develop their growing memory skills.
A big Christmas tree.
A treetop star.
The menorah.
Like I said, there are actual stakes to this Christmas special too. But what do I mean by that? Well, Blue's friend Joe is on his way to her house, but the snowstorm could potentially make it hard for Joseph to find her. So Blue depends on a candle puppet to light the way. However, said candle's flame could be blown out by the strong winds. So we have to keep checking the candle to see if it's still burning, and that tense anticipation will definitely keep kids on their toes.
Still hanging in there. Oh.
When Joe finally makes it, we're not only relieved, but the atmosphere somehow gets even more wholesome. All because Joseph is such a wonderful character, a sweet cinnamon roll who beams with feelings of love for others. I especially love his portrayal of positive masculinity, from the fact that he's very confident about expressing his emotions, to how he shows his affection to others through knitting.
Wow! Do you like my new hat?
All in all, this is a wonderful preschool holiday special that embodies everything great about the Blue franchise. It's a real winter treat that trusts kids' intelligence while trying its best to be inclusive. Fraggle Rock, the Bells of Fraggle Rock. During the winter, the Fraggles celebrate their annual Festival of the Bells. But Gobo denounces said celebration as silly, because it doesn't make sense to him. So Gobo decides to journey to the Great Bell to confirm whether it actually is a myth or real. Now, you might argue that this isn't a Christmas special, because it's about an original Fraggle holiday that's a cross between winter solstice and the Chinese New Year. However, whenever we do cut back to Earth, it's established as Christmas time, as well as the season for other cultural human celebrations.
And you give a person or a dog a stick, and he tries to break the piñata to get the gifts out.
I particularly love seeing a Fraggle making live commentary on our Christmas traditions.
But none of our traditions were observed. Instead, some silly creatures appeared, left milk and cookies to cook by the fire, and hung their clothes in the living room.
You see, it's technically a unique twist on the usual meaning of Christmas lesson. In the episode, Gobo means no ill will to the others. He just feels that he can't celebrate the day himself without personal validation first. The special simply lets him take that spiritual journey. Heck, he even gets really excited when he thinks that the Great Bell does actually exist.
This is it! The cave of the Great Bell! Right where the map said.
When we're not following Gobo cave exploring, we get to fascinatingly listen to the other Fraggles' perspectives, as each one questions the future of their tradition, trusting Gobo's success, and how long they can wait in the cold for their friend. These Fraggles might all share the same faith, but they still vary in personality, principles, and patience.
What if Gobo doesn't come back in
the time. I, for one, do not want to sit here and freeze.
Sure, the Great Bell turns out to be made up, but that's the sentiment of the episode's message. Gobo spent so much time trying to find a physical material that resembled his festival's meaning that his friends ended up being too frozen to celebrate with him, thus teaching Gobo that the meaning of the holiday wasn't some object that he needed to find, but the very heart of the season, his Fraggle family.
Oh, it's good to be with you, Indy, at the heart of the rock.
It's admittedly a rather unusual way of getting across the Christmas spirit to under 10s, but Jim Henson was always a master of kids' education back in the day. Dinosaurs, Refrigerate today. Much like with Fraggle Rock's Christmas special, this episode centers on its very own fictional holiday. But come on, just replace a Christmas tree with a fridge, and you kind of sort of have Refrigerate today? Okay, maybe that's a little unfair, because there's actual lore around this prehistoric festival, all involving the dinosaurs' discovery of the first ever fridge, but I'm still counting it. Even though our family is made up of dinosaurs, this is one of the more relatable puppet specials out there, as we follow the working class Sinclairs during the winter and get to see how no Christmas bonus affects their celebrations. The average person on a medium or low salary can really resonate with these characters' financial struggles during an expensive season. Not only can a limited fund mean less decorating freedom for your house, but many people can feel deeply insecure for not being able to afford to spoil their loved ones.
I failed my family. I'm nothing. I'm dirt.
You're not dirt, Dad.
However, this special doesn't just bring up a common problem and then pessimistically call it a day. No, it encourages the family to enjoy their holidays without the luxuries that everyone else has, and to remember that giving can come in many shapes. You see, when the family's fridge is repossessed before the big day, the Sinclairs make the bold sacrifice of returning their presents to buy a new fridge. A rather selfless move that expresses their love for Father Earl during his midlife crisis. Which, speaking of, is both funny and sad.
Does Dad seem a little depressed to you?
He's working it out, dear. He'll be fine.
On top of this, the family perform a Fridge Day pageant together that not only helps them to remember their ancestral roots, but also reminds them all that the holidays can also be about having fun and laughter with your loved ones.
I love this pageant. Who needs presents? Who needs anything?
Although this special isn't a naively innocent take on the spirit of Christmas, because it also tries to be a satire of corporate greed and every company's annual obsession with exploiting the holidays. There's an obvious cynical edge to this episode that stops it from getting too saccharine.
The gift of paint.
Wish you a Merry Fridge Day, we wish you a Merry Fridge Day, we wish you a Merry Fridge Day, so come in and buy paint.
Like, sure, at the end of the episode, the department store end up giving the Sinclairs the Christmas that they've wanted, but it's not a charitable donation that comes from the heart. No, these chairmen are simply rewarding Mother Fran for pitching a refund policy to them. So even though we're given a happy ending, there's still a nagging feeling that this isn't a wholesome miracle, but rather a reminder that companies only care about customers that either remain loyal or help them to make more money.
He thinks a return policy could give us the edge we need to crush our competition, become a monopoly, and serve you better.
Only a show as smart and savvy as Dinosaurs could have found a way to celebrate the deeper meaning of the season, while also leaving us with a sour taste about the darker side of holiday consumerism. Thunderbirds, give or take $1 million. In this festive episode of Jerry Anderson's classic marionette show, a department store and a rocket company team up to deliver Christmas presents to a children's hospital. On Christmas Eve night though, two villains called Scobie and Straker trespass into the department store to break into the bank next door. This is a surprisingly rather cozy and laid-back episode of Thunderbirds. All because the Tracys are technically on their Christmas break, they don't actually get involved with the bank heist plot, and put all of their focus into celebrating the holidays together.
Now we can go ahead and really make this something to remember.
As a slice of life fan, I quite enjoy just watching these marionettes quietly decorating their base and taking their time to prepare their Christmas dinner. Maybe I'm weird, but that's just my jam. Our heroes aren't completely off the clock though, because they've actually promised that one lucky hospital kid will win a day on Tracy Island. So these preparations aren't just for the Thunderbirds team, they're also for a child patient who deserves a special Christmas prize.
That was a smash. What's next?
Well, we've just got time for one more carol before further refreshments.
Oh, and it's super wholesome that Brains, who feels bad that the tropical Tracy Island won't be getting any snow, uses his amazing talents and high-tech resources to develop a recipe for a white Christmas. He keeps his science project a secret in the lead up to Christmas, but then adorably surprises everyone on the big day.
Look. Oh, it's snowing.
For anyone who is worried that this episode lacks the show's trademark tension, please don't panic, because we do frequently cut to the bank heist now and again. These scenes are terrific to follow, because our villains have this entertainingly confrontational dynamic, and their comical criminal bickering can really add to the already nail-biting break-in.
For Pete's sake, keep your feet up. Yeah. It's no picnic, you know.
Even though they've come up with a very clever way of avoiding the alarm-triggered flaw, the execution of said plan is consistently hindered by their own amusing immaturity.
We made it.
The star on top of the tree is that these idiots end up hiding in the very rocket that's destined for the children's hospital and end up conking themselves out while on board. Yep, our villains are defeated by their own stupidity. Or while our heroes are having a nice Christmas party.
Are they dead?
No, the gravity force must have knocked them out.
Fun fact, this was actually the last ever Thunderbirds episode that aired, until the anniversary specials came along, of course. Sure, it might not have the show's usual spectacle and drama, but it's a great swan song to the Tracys as a family, and an altogether lovely Christmas special that doesn't take itself too seriously. So those are all the Christmas specials that I have time to talk about. I did want to cover more, but I'm afraid that I've been very busy this December. Now, some of you may be wondering why I've decided to end Puppet Panic. Well, it's pretty much the same reason why I stopped doing Jamboree Orange. A desire to have less monthly commitments, and more freedom from my schedule. Please don't assume that this means I'm never going to talk about puppet-related media ever again, because that's not the case. I simply won't be doing a monthly show called Puppet Panic anymore, which wasn't even an original title for a show to begin with, because apparently it's also the name of a Sonic the Hedgehog zone. Anyway, Merry Christmas folks, and a Happy New Year.